Hi there, everyone. We are continuing to track yet another typhoon out here in the Western Pacific today. This is Typhoon Dolphin, the seventh named storm system of 2015. And as you can see here on this imagery from the Meteor app, this is displaying the conditions for those of you by Friday afternoon and Guam. You're expecting a typhoon to push directly overhead, and I'm sure if you're out here, you're already making those preparations. So the bulk of today's update is going to be about Typhoon Dolphin, but I do want to go ahead and make mention of what is left of Noel out here, because that storm system definitely moving off here towards the northeast. It has completely lost all of its tropical characteristics. This is it right here, by the way. It really got wrapped up with another low back towards the west and just provided this absolutely massive circulation of air across northeastern Asia, really surging in the warm air from the south across much of Japan. So temperatures on the rise today, but on Tuesday it brought those rough conditions. Actually, some areas saw record-breaking winds. Some locations in Shizuoka Prefecture saw about 143 millimeters of rain in just a few hours span. That brings me to my next point here. This has been an active typhoon season thus far. Dolphin is the seventh named storm of the year, something that does not typically occur actually to the month of July. If we look back at some of the notable storm systems thus far, because it hasn't just been a lot of weak storms, we've had some strong ones. Typhoon Higos was the strongest typhoon on record in February. Typhoon Maisak was the strongest typhoon on record in the month of April, and Typhoon No broke into the top 5 strongest typhoons on record for the month of May. It also brought the highest winds ever recorded in Japan in the month of May, outside of locations at the summit of Mount Fuji. Now, the big question is, will our storm system Dolphin push any of these records? I think it could if it overcomes some dry air, maybe some vertical wind shear off towards the north, but I think that's all going to occur after it passes Guam and starts to push off here towards the northwest. It does look like conditions in this area might be prime for rapid intensification. As far as our storm system now, it is combating some drier inflow coming in from the west, and that's all this area over here towards the northwest. You can kind of see it on the satellite imagery here, and then you have this dry slot that's wrapping in. But regardless, this has intensified quite impressively today. We are seeing a lot of inflow coming in from the south. We have good outflow aloft. This storm system is continuing to intensify. The eye, as you can see here on this imagery, is definitely very clear. We have that eye wall continuing to set up, and right here at sunset, you can see a lot of the shadowing occurring, just showing you how strong those thunderstorms are that are wrapping into the storm. The good news, it is staying north of the island of Chuuk here, just south of that center of circulation. Remember, last month when Maisak pushed overhead, it killed 9 people on that island. That's the last thing you need out here right now. Right now, winds 70 gusting to 100 knots, pressure 965 HPA. Expect that to continue to intensify as we go ahead through the next 24 to 48 hours. Typhoon watches have been issued across all the Mariana Islands from the Guam National Weather Service. That means typhoon strength winds are expected by Friday afternoon. Waves up to 24 feet high. Stay out of the water. 4 to 6 foot high storm surge is another big thing we're talking about here, especially as the storm system approaches on Friday. You really got those winds starting to come in from the east. That's going to be hitting the northeastern coastline. So there's that threat of about a 4 to 6 foot inundation with this, and about 14 to 16 inches of total rainfall in the forecast. Remember last year we actually saw some flooding from one of the typhoons that pushed through. Similar situation expected here. JMA's track here. The storm's going to be pushing by basically Friday afternoon to the evening hours directly over the island. I'm not showing you the National Weather Service track, which is reflected from JTBC. I'm pretty much standard on using the JMA track, but I do want to know about showing the same intensity and the same forecast track and location when it passes over Guam. The GFS model actually shifts a little bit farther there towards the north. Widespread rainfall, though, and this really indicates to you some of these areas which are going to be seeing some staggering amounts of precipitation. Let's take a look at the forecast. Thursday, increasing showers. Friday, that's when the typhoon conditions are going to be setting in here, and that's going to be one of the big issues. As we go ahead through Friday morning, that's when those tropical storm least strength conditions set in, but Friday afternoon, typhoon conditions, winds sustained over 120 kilometers per hour. Gusts could be as high as 200 kilometers per hour. Heavy rain. Some of these outer rain bands as this approaches as well. It's going to be having those strong thunderstorms mixed in with it, and even a threat of water spouts or tornadoes. I mean, typhoons are not just windy conditions. They have a whole slew of problems that come with them, and that is why if you are out here, you want to be where you want to be. I think by Thursday night or Friday morning at the very least, all businesses and schools will be closed on Friday. If they haven't announced it already, it would be foolish not to close them unless this storm does a beeline in the other direction, which no conditions or no models or no forecast suggest at all that's going to be happening out here. At least by Saturday, conditions will be clearing out. Some partly cloudy skies working their way in by Saturday afternoon into the evening hours. And then our storm, it moves off there towards the northwest. And as I mentioned, it's going to be getting in an area where it's going to have an abundance, just an abundance of outflow aloft towards the north. Actually, I'll pull up the winds in the upper levels because this is just going to have so much outflow. It's going to be over warm sea surface temperatures, definitely low amounts of vertical wind shear, and that's what's indicated here. You have the jet stream over here towards the north, but this is in the upper level winds. It just is flowing with our storm system. This is going to love that as we go ahead through the weekend. I think this could match those records from NOAA out here for the month of May. Now, the good news is that that same jet stream off here towards the north, eventually that should be the demise of our storm system, and it should pull it northeast. And this jet stream right here, that's going to act like a wall and keep our storm away from Japan and just tear it apart and shoot it off towards the east as we go ahead in the next week. So I really think, unless you're on the Ogasawara Islands here, there's a couple of these small islands, including Iwo Jima, well towards the south of Japan, you're not going to be directly impacted by this storm system unless you're on Guam. If you're on Guam, get ready. It's going to be a windy one out here on Friday. Remember, as always, the Guam National Weather Service is your official warning agency if you are out here in Guam or the Mariana Islands. But if you want more information from us, check westernpacificweather.com. Follow us on our Facebook, Twitter. Follow me on Twitter as well at Robert Spetta. And as always, stay safe out there.